Serie A has its issues, guys, right? We can all agree and admit to that. But one thing we can also admit and agree that Serie A over the last few years has had some very interesting title races, and it's the same thing this season. It's shaping up to be another very interesting title race. At the moment, all the top seven teams are within of 5 points of each other. I mean, even Juve at the moment, we can't count them out from a Scudetto race because they are within touching distance. Even Bologna, even Como. But yeah, today, it's the time, guys, to discuss Serie A in general. It's the time to put our um, non-biased hats on. But before we get into it all, make sure you leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The first question, or of course the headline of the show today is Napoli joint top now. Antonio Conte, that weird drama that was going on over the international break looks to be all over. If anything, they've come out even stronger since that moment, which is a testament to Antonio Conte that he keeps somehow adapting, changing, finding ways to get the best out of this team. And they're flying high. But you know who else is flying high? David Neres. I mean, this guy, I won't believe you if you tell me this guy doesn't bun a zoo, he doesn't smoke up, he doesn't roll one big joint before, after every big game or any game. This guy always constantly looks high. But whatever he's smoking, some good stuff because clearly it's working over the last few weeks. David Neres has been the game changer for Napoli. Finally, the Napoli fans will rejoice that Politano is not part of the starting 11 anymore. Since the De Bruyne injury, since some other major injuries, Antonio Conte has reverted, you could say, to a 3-4-3 or 3-4-2-1. Because this is, if you remember, last season when Antonio Conte, when he first joined Napoli, this is the formation that he tried to play, which we all thought he was going to try to play, right? Because you had Kvara, you had Lukaku, and you had Politano. In general, his last club team, that was the formation he played. Usually we know that he likes to, outside of Inter, he pretty much has always liked to play 3-4-2-1, or Inter and Juve, all the other teams has kind of played a variation of a 3-4-2-1. But it didn't work last season. He tried it for a few first initial couple weeks, but the balance wasn't right there, wasn't quite right. This time around, it seems like he has found the balance, and which is quite surprising, especially without Anguissa in there. But McTominay is doing the Anguissa work as well. Somehow Di Lorenzo, who looked absolutely finished a few weeks back, especially for Italy, somehow is looking good as a more of a wing back. Now Buongiorno is back on form. Rahmani is back from injury. Berkema is also looking better. Milinkovic-Savic keeps making big saves. Even Noah Lang now looks, decent. I'm not going to say he's not a flop. Well, I'm still, the jury's still out whether he's a flop or not, but definitely right now I can't say that he's a flop just to continue my agenda. He's definitely improved a lot recently. Even Hoyland, even though he's not really particularly playing that well or scoring, he's doing his role. Again, I gotta give the shouts out to Antonio Conte. So many injuries, so many issues within this team. Some of them probably caused by himself. We know Antonio Conte second season usually ends up self-combusting or combusting and igniting the club, igniting the grenade and then leaving. But this year it looks like after the initial kind of those issues we had a few weeks back, as I said, in the international break, he's turned it around. And against Roma, it felt like they barely broke a sweat with this 1-0 win. They had their chances in the first half, and then in the second half, I don't think they even shot, because a lot of these shots, I think, are all in the first half. So you see Neres there, first half shot, first half. Yeah, I think all of Napoli's shots, I don't think they're even shot in the second half. There it is. There was one shot from Politano in the second half, and that's it. And then this McTominay header in the second half, and that's about it. That was all the work that they needed to do, and they still completely out XG'd Roma, and Roma completely toothless. Let's get on to Roma now. I think, I've been saying on this channel, they've been proving me wrong, but I've been saying, it's surely not Roma. They're not title contenders. You can't be title contenders. You don't even have a striker. These guys don't even have a striker. Like, they literally Sometimes they play Ferguson, but then look, he gets subbed off at half time. They sometimes play Baldanzi. They play Dovbig. Sometimes they play some absolute random player up front as a false nine, even Dybala sometimes. It's just they need a striker in January, and they probably won't get it because they've got FFP issues. If anything, they probably need to sell players before they buy anyone. They've done very well to be where they are right now. Gasparini's work has been fantastic, but it has been really on the defensive side of things. They still are the joint best defense in the league alongside Como. Actually, I didn't realize until I'm just looking now. But only 15 goals scored. I mean, that is very, very low amount of goals. They need to up that, even if it might sacrifice some of the defensive side of things. Because long term, this is going to hurt them. But now things are starting to align a little bit more. I think these are the top three teams I was expecting at the beginning of the season. When I made my prediction, it was Milan, Napoli, and Inter. I was also, of course, expecting Juve. Let's see if Spalletti manages to get them back up to the level that I was expecting. But we need to talk about Como, guys. Are Como the real deal? That is my question. Comment down below. Are Como the real deal, or are they? Is this just their first season towards becoming the real deal in terms of getting into Europe, getting into the top 7, top 6? At the moment here on FotMob, it shows us top 6 getting European football. Did we lose a spot? I thought it was top 7. But yeah, is it just that, or do they even have an outsider chance of getting into the top 4? Because how they're playing at the moment, super solid defensively, scoring at least more than Roma, but nothing too flashy in terms of amounts of goals scored, same as Milan, just one less than Napoli. They're looking good. Cesc Fabregas has confirmed himself as one of the best young coaches in Europe, and shows why Inter tried to sign him this summer and why Como did their best to keep Fabregas, and they were right to keep Fabregas. But yeah, what do you make of this Como team? They beat Sassuolo pretty comfortably, 2-0, I believe it was the score. Yes, 2-0. Nico Paz, of course, continues to perform. Amazing assist for the Alberto Moreno goal. Yeah, do you think they're overperforming, or is this the level that you expect them to be? Because I feel like I was expecting them to be maybe around 7th or 8th. I can't remember my exact prediction with Como, but I predicted them to be challenging for Europe for sure. So, in my opinion, they are slightly overachieving at the moment. But I think it's a nice story. You know, the whole when they bring around the famous Hollywood actors, they bring around Thierry Henry and all these famous celebs to the Como Lake. Of course, they're using the Como celebrity plus luxury branding, marketing. It just goes hand in hand. They're a good example of how marketing should be done in Serie A. Branding, they are a good example for that. I know that people are not a fan of how Como's squad is built in terms of there's basically no Italians in the Como squad. When you look at them, Vigorito, who is a goalkeeper that never plays, he's like their third choice goalkeeper. Chiesa, I think he's from someone from the youth team. Dosena actually was someone that started for them last season, but he's out with the ACL. Goldaniga also used to start for them last season, but now he's a backup. Salah, he never plays, I don't think. More youth players. Alberto Cherry, oh my God, that guy is absolutely awful. Yeah, this is one of the problems people have with Como, which I do agree to a certain extent. You're not really helping the Italian national team or the Italian footballing sphere or the movement, but why would Como care about that? They just need to get the best, most impressive youth players. That's just clearly what they're trying to do. Younger players from around Europe or around the world. It would be nice to them try to at least have at least 1 or 2 Italian mainstays, but Cesc Fabregas did say that he did try, and either they were a bit overpriced or he just didn't find the right talent. So let's see how that project develops, but I do like that they're getting eyes onto Serie A and they are, causing some waves in the world of football, whether it's positive or negative in your opinion. I like what they're doing and they are pretty nice team to watch. I don't think they're as good as people make them out to be to watch, because they're actually quite very hard to break down. They press hard. They work very hard. I don't think there's I see clips of them posted online about how some of the nice football, but I don't think they actually play as nice football as people think they do. But I think Interisti, I think we're going to find next week when we play them, Inter versus Como. Elsewhere, I'm happy for Daniele De Rossi getting his first win, first home win for Genoa, and now they are out of the relegation zone. It's so like narrow at the bottom that literally one win makes all the difference for this Genoa team. But Fiorentina, man, Fiorentina still winless. This is an absolute embarrassment. Vanoli hasn't been able, even with the new coach bounce he's supposed to get, nothing, absolutely nothing. If anything, they've been there's been protests from the fans. Edin Dzeko the other day came out to say he had to admit that yes, we're shit, but please, fans, support us, try to support us, we need you. And they had to go talk to the ultras, the classic players having to go out and talk to the ultras because they're so angry. Man, that is an actual conversation now. Fiorentina relegation battle, because we're in match day 13 now. We're getting to the halfway point. There's no getting away from it, and still winless. That is an absolute embarrassment. That Fiorentina, with the squad they have, with the transfer fees they paid, with the wages they pay, their size as a club, that they're still winless. And who else is winless? Hellas Verona as well, because I don't actually know how Hellas Verona winless. They do always create lots of chances. They just need Gift Orban or Giovanni or Mosquera, whoever plays up front, to just bring their shooting boots for once. These guys always underperform their XG. They are such a frustrating team to watch, especially, I guess, if you support them. Udinese won, but they're just going to be mid-table as they always are. Juve Cagliari, I watched this game fully from start to finish. What I want to say is Kenan Yildiz, if he was a bit more consistent, this guy, I think, could be easily the best player in Serie A. He is so gifted, so talented, so influential on this Juve team. He was the one that carried Juve to a win against Bodo Glimt in the Champions League in midweek. And luckily, I brought him in for my fantasy Serie A team as well. But without him, where would this Juve team be? Because they literally just kind of coast on this kind of individual brilliance. That's all Juve work. And it hasn't changed under Spalletti. It's always they rely on these two players behind the striker. It's like, can Conceição do something, or can Yildiz do something? Otherwise, they really struggle to create anything, this Juve. And I'm surprised that Spalletti continues to play with the same exact formation as Turo. So he's not really changed much since he's come in, which has been quite surprising. But Koopmeiners seems to be doing pretty well as a centre-back. So Juve, you thought you were getting a marauding goal-scoring 50, 60 million midfielder, but no, you're actually getting just a safe, 10 million pound centre-back by the sounds of it. On Cagliari, I want to say Marco Palestra. Actually, let me double check. Is his name Marco? Oh, yes, Marco. I did have him in my players to watch. Remember the video me and Lex made at the beginning of the season? One player to watch for every Serie A team this season. I chose Palestra because at the time he was at Atalanta. Then he got loaned to Cagliari. But I want Palestra at Inter. I want Inter to loan out or sell Luis Enrique as soon as possible. I know that sounds reactionary. It sounds crazy to do something like that to a new signing 6 months in. But this is how much I rate Palestra as a talent. I think he's got everything to be a top wing back. He's got good height, good physique, quick, good on the ball, good dribbling, and good decision making, even though he's only 20 years old. He could have had a couple of assists in this game. He started, especially in that first half, he started off very well. Oh, actually, could have won a penalty. I thought that was a borderline call in the first half. But he's owned by Atalanta, so that means it's pretty much impossible for it to happen, especially Inter and Atalanta for some reason, right? But yeah, let's go back to Other teams, Milan, Lazio, another Corto Muso, Allegri win. This one, once again, very similar to the win against Inter. Magic Mike Magnon once again stepping up with some massive saves. Not that Lazio created too much, but the 2 or 3 chances they created, guess who was there? Mike Magnon. Milan, you might have to take the L. You might have to take the L and give this guy a new contract, man. I know that the negotiation stalled. It looks like he's going to be leaving on a free transfer. Maybe he is asking too much for a goalkeeper at 30 years of age. He wants like 5 million nets, 6 million net, apparently, according to some reports, which is what he's going to get in the Premier League by Chelsea or other teams. But I don't know, this type of performance levels, or you could say his contract year, so he's playing for that contract or that new contract for the new club. So you shouldn't take that into account. But this is reminding me of the Magnon that won the Scudetto for Milan. I know Rafa Leao won the MVP that season quite deservedly, but in my opinion, if Rafa Leao didn't have those few big goals right at the end of the season, I was going to give that MVP to Mike Magnon that year. And he's moving in that same vein at the moment. But yeah, Allegri just solidified the defense, and up front, Leao in this new role keeps stepping up, even without Pulisic. They keep moving. But in my opinion, guys, to wrap this all up, this video up, in my opinion, Napoli are the still the real favorites for me. After, especially now, this reversion from Conte to 3-4-3, it might not be permanent, but at the moment, the way Napoli are looking after this period of doubt, after this period of unrest, the fact that they're able to bounce back, and they're going to have Lukaku coming back. Let's not forget, Lukaku is going to come back around mid-December, end of December. I think he's scheduled to return, which is going to be an upgrade on this current Højlund because he's still not really firing on all cylinders. Neither is Lukaku. Always takes a few weeks to get back into swing of things, but that's that. And then after January, Anguissa will return as well. So if Napoli stay around this area of the table, join top or near the top, 1 or 2 or 3 points off the top even, and then they're going to probably get out of Europe, right? We all know Conte, Europe. After they get out of Europe, 1 game a week, same as Milan, then they are going to be I think they still are the strong favorites, in my opinion, for this Serie A title. Then I still put Milan, of course, because they're 1 game a week, Allegri. But this Milan reminds me a lot of Allegri's Juve, the last Allegri Juve. People say he doesn't have a style of football, but to me, I watched this Milan play. I'm just getting complete flashbacks of that Juve just a couple of years ago, especially now that Rabiot's there. It's like this same formation, same vibe, same type of play, and these like 1-0 wins. That is a style of play. To me, that's a style of play. Whether you appreciate it or like it aesthetically or not, that's up to you. But that is a style of play. And to me, he's brought that Juve style of play straight into this Milan team. And they're going to be there and thereabouts for sure. Obviously, it depends on some injuries, whether Pulisic stays fit or Leao stays fit. I still don't trust. I know they solidified this defense, but on an individual level, I still don't really trust some of their defenders like Gabbia and Tomori and Pavlovic. But we saw Kalulu, Tomori, Calabria winning the Scudetto as well. So, now I can never say that when I doubt some defenders. I've seen Juan Jesus win the Scudetto as a starter as well. So I can't say anything to that. And yes, I still believe Inter will be there and thereabouts. So they have to be. They should be, regardless of whether you rate Kivu or not. I think they should be there and thereabouts. And Bologna, finally, their run ended today. They just lost to Cremonese. I think they should revert to the mean now to be, in and around the 7th, 8th, 9th spot, as they should be. And it was good to see Palladino get his first win for Atalanta as well. That's very good. Aslani missed a massive, massive penalty for Torino that could have equalized the game for them. So Aslani haters, I'm sure you'll be happy about that. But yeah, it's turning out to be a very, very nice race as usual for both sides of the table. Big fixtures next week, of course. Inter Como is one. Napoli, Juve. That will be a big test to see where is Spalletti with his Juve team. And then Milan Milan have a pretty good, nice game away to Torino. So yeah, only one real big game, really, I would say, Napoli Juventus. So one to watch out for next week. Let me know all your thoughts about this Serie A in the comments down below. Excuse me. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Ciao ragazzi. Forza Serie A.